of May 2025 daily snippets from my quilting studio. I'm Susan Smith and my studio is called Stitched by Susan, and I'm here in front of my thread rack. Gosh, it's not very pretty. I've got an ironing board standing and who knows what, but this is reality, right? So while YouTube lets a few people know that I'm online, let me just say briefly, I apologize for not coming on live yesterday. Mr. Producer and I drove to the coast of Washington State, so that's 6 hours almost from us to our destination, to visit some family. And I had full intentions of getting on live and doing a little something yesterday morning, and just in the process of visiting and coffeeing and all of that, totally forgot till about 10:30 last night, and I wasn't going to do that to you. So you missed a day. I'll make it up to you by doing some more days at the end of these episodes. So once again, if you don't know already, I am coming live Monday through Saturday, when I don't forget, for about a month. Every day with topics that just are casual, kind of impromptu, sometimes in response to questions from you. And in fact, today's is in response to a question. Someone asked, if you could only have 6 Isacord thread colors, what would they be? So a little backstory on that. Isacord is a brand. I happen to love it. It's 100% polyester. It's a trilobal thread. It's what you're seeing on this rack behind me. I particularly love polyester thread at the long arm. It's low lint, it's strong, it stands up to fast stitching. And there are other brands than Isacord. I just find it convenient to typically stick with one brand. It fits on my rack well. I can reorder the same colors and I'm familiar with them. That's kind of my reasoning for sticking with Isacord. And I do have some other brands for different weights of thread, but my fairly typical is this 40 weight trilobal polyester by Isacord. I have a great wholesale source for it. So for all those reasons, that's my brand, but I'm not necessarily brand specific. You can find other poly brands too. But for today's purposes, I'll show you my 6 favorite colors, and I'll actually give you the color numbers because I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll let you know what those things actually are. So let's dive in. If you could only have 6 threads, what would they be? First one, eggshell. This is not quite white. The color number is 0101 in Isacord. You see that ever so slightly? Eggshell. This is a really good all-purpose thread. Even if you do quilts that have white backgrounds, this is very good at picking up subtle colors. So it looks white on white. It looks ivory on ivory. It blends well on pale pinks, pale yellows, pale blues, pale greens, anything like that. And eggshell is a really good blender thread. This, I'm pretty confident I can say, is the thread color I use the most. Now, I should put a caveat in here. All of these will be a little bit dependent on what types of quilts you quilt, right? If you're always doing, is it Kansas Troubles, the line of fabric that's like all caramels and browns and olive greens and blues? If you do a ton of those, chances are you won't be quilting with eggshell. But from my own quilts and my client quilts, this is the thread color I use most often. 0101 eggshell. Second, this is kind of a mid-tan, and the color number is 0861. Now again, I'm putting caveats in here in all the places because I do strongly recommend a good tan, but one of Isacord's strengths is that they have a ton of shades of thread, and you can get a color card, which I'm sorry I didn't bring right here, but it's actually got wraps of thread on those color cards, so you're not just looking at a picture, because looking at these on a screen, like on your computer, will not give you a good sense of the color. Looking at the actual thread will. The reason I'm saying all that is because with all the ones I'm going to show you today, there are multiple shades. So for example, this is a quite almost grayish tan, and that works with the quilts that I work on. But you can get warmer, more yellow tans or more pink tans, or right? So you might have a different variation in that, but a good, not too light, not too dark tan is a great option to have as one of your 6 threads. Next, I love this one. It's kind of a caramel color. Can you see that? It is 1133 is the color number. If you do love Kansas City Troubles, am I saying that right, or is it just Kansas Troubles? It's terrible. I haven't quilted with or sewn with those fabrics in a long, long time. But this is a great neutral. It really, really is. It blends with things like sage greens or even blues or browns, and even on creams, it's not too bad. So a really good Kansas Troubles. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. A good blender thread, just one of the ones that I reach for so often. Again, You know, there's shades here and shades there, but this is a good one. 1133, I think, is a great one. Okay, this one would be second only to the eggshell, and it is 0131, and it's a medium gray. Can you see that? So I happen to have, and you can see some of them on my rack. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades right now of gray, charcoal, black on my rack. And I love having that option because I like matching. Certain grays just look better than others, but this is my favorite middle of the road one and the one I reach for the most often. So again, there you can find warmer grays, you can find bluer grays, you know, that might vary a little for you, but this is a good starting point. And then after that, I keep a fairly dark gray. Can you see that? Not quite charcoal, but fairly dark. 0112 is the color on this one. Do you see a theme here? So far, all I've gone through are quite neutral. The eggshell, the tan, into the caramel, and then the grays. These cover or can cover all kinds of quilts and colors, right? Most occasions. Now, I'm going to look at comments for a minute, and then I've got kind of a happy surprise for you in number 6. Let's just scroll back through for half a sec. We're getting hellos and good mornings and good afternoons from people clearly watching in another time zone. It is still morning for me. Brenda, finally caught you again live. Hooray. Good, good, good. Debbie, I have a quilt top I'm piecing using Kansas Troubles. I'll have to look for that color. And by the way, Debbie, if you've already got a neutral on hand that's working well for you, these are not the only colors. These are just among mine. These are some of my favorites and the ones I reach for the most. So I'm just sharing what I have. Okay, color number 6 is kind of a bonus one. It is a color, and I'm going to give you some of my favorites. And I suggest if you're just getting started and just building your thread portfolio, that you pick one of these, or maybe 2, that lend themselves to whatever quilts you tend to quilt, right? So you'll see what I mean in just a minute. This is one favorite. It's much more of a gold than the caramel that I showed you, and it is 0721. I've used this one quite a lot on Quilts of Valor because it's just that beautiful kind of eagle-y gold, but it's not crazy bright like a metallic. It's somewhat subtle. So this is a favorite color, which you might want in your arsenal. Another one, not so subtle, red. So again, there are many shades of red. You can see that I have a few of them here. I think I have 6 shades of red also, but this one is 1911, and it's a very beautiful red. So if you quilt things that have barn reds in them, maybe you want a barn red color in your mix, or maybe you love more orangey poppy reds, maybe you would prefer that type of red. But one good solid red is a great addition to your color palette. Another one that I particularly love, I don't know that I could call this a neutral, but it's one that I love, and it seems to work on a lot of baby quilts and kind of color schemes that are popular right now. It's this robin's egg blue. It's not aqua. It's got much more blue tones than that, and it is 4250. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then lastly, a color that I love is a teal. It's quite a blue teal. I don't know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful color. Hard to read. 4643 is the color number on that one. So again, you can see down here, you can't quite see down there. I've got 6 or 7 colors in, in the aqua to teal range. Because again, I do love to kind of match those colors, just the right one for the right quilt. But this one is a good middle of the road one that matches a lot of things. Okay, let's have a peek at the comments here, see what we're seeing. More hellos. Crochet Mama, what are your thoughts on Aurifil? Okay, first off, I have to be honest and say, I have not used Aurifil on my long arm. I know quilters who do. But all the cotton or mercerized cotton or all the cottons that I've ever used on my long arm produce way more lint. And I don't mean a little more, I mean 10 or 20 times as much lint as a polyester thread. So for my opinion, you'll be much happier with a poly thread if you're doing a lot of quilting. If you're only quilting for yourself, you only quilt a few quilts, and you've got Aurifil, by all means, go for it. It's a great quality thread, but it will produce more lint, and it is way more expensive than a polyester thread. Again, multiple times, not just $1 more for a cone, a lot more. So that's just a consideration. Aurifil's a great company and it's wonderful thread, but those are things you want to think about. Oh, lots of questions coming in. Okay, let me try and keep up here. Janice, I use similar neutrals like you, but also light teal. Yes, please keep in mind in all of this conversation, this is my style and also my types of quilts that I do for clients. So if you do a lot more lighter aquas or lighter teals than the dark, you pick. But I think a good teal is a really good option for sure. Janice, I'll never go back to cotton thread for quilting. I'm with you on that, and I've given you my reasons, and lint is at the top of them. Also, it just is not quite as strong, which is not a deal breaker. But again, if you're quilting a lot and you're trying to go at speed, you will notice the difference for sure, a cotton thread compared to a poly. Olita from Arkansas, so happy I caught you live. I'm glad you're here too. Oh gosh, Brenda, what would you suggest for a maroon heart with dark and light khaki background? I mean, I can't see your shades, Brenda, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, with any color I was choosing, I would pick several off my rack and I would take a little pool of thread. So I undo it. Let me find the tail here. And I literally grab a couple of yards like this, and I get a little puddle of thread and I move that puddle around on the different fabrics. And you'll get a pretty good sense of how it will look, you know, in a single line of quilting on those fabrics. And just compare. Do you like it on the maroon heart? Do you like it on the khaki background? Etc., etc. Now I'm trying to close up my spool here so I don't get too many tails all tangled. Okay, there were more questions. Let me get them up again. It's always a job. Okay, Kay in Lindale, Texas. We'll have to watch the replay and catch up later. Packing up my sewing room today, moving. Wow. Oh, that's a job. That's a job. I don't envy you that. Okay, I threw out so many cones of cotton thread that came with my long arm. Glide has been a game changer. Glide is a great brand too. Absolutely. Wonderfil is another one. There's probably more out there that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head. I just can't say enough. I strongly recommend the poly threads just for the strength and ease of use and the low lint quality. You will so appreciate it if you do any amount of quilting at all. Debbie, just starting my quilting journey. So, sorry about the joggle. So glad I found you. You're answering most of my questions about what thread I use. Awesome. Colleen, I use Glide as well. Yep, Glide is a great brand, and they offer some good wholesale options too. So, yeah, excellent brand. Not sure how many colors they have, but most of them are developing more and more colors over the years. Even from when I started long arming 10 years ago, there's been great strides in thread development and thread availability. And so that's always, always changing. Brenda, you're amazing. And you're a sweetheart, Brenda. Thanks so much for your knowledge. You are so welcome. Okay, Peggy has a question for another day. Would you talk about a spoon foot instead of regular hopping foot for thick seams? Oh, absolutely. That's a super topic. I'll mark that down for later this week. Okay, in that line, again, if you're just tuning in and if you're enjoying these daily snippets, would you give them a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell to know when I'm coming live? And I'm doing it Monday through Saturday for the next 2 weeks yet, I think. Usually kind of in the morning specific time, but it's not always a set time. So that's why you need that notification bell. I am also opening up a workshop this coming week. So Thursday and Saturday and Sunday, I'm offering it live. Those 3 days, 3 different times, so that hopefully you can catch one of the live sessions. I will be offering a replay briefly after the sessions are over, but lives are so much better because we can chat back and forth and I can answer your questions. So this workshop is called Stitch Confident. And how to sum it up for you in a sentence? I'm talking about finding your inner artist, and I'm taking some of the mystery, I believe, out of being a free motion quilter. It can feel really, really intimidating if you're just getting started or haven't even started yet, but think you might want to. And I want to take some of the mystery out of it and show you that it's a step-by-step learning process and that anybody who wants to can do it. So that's what the workshop is about. Spruel, I've watched so many of your videos on YouTube. I can't tell you, and your comment just disappeared. Hang on a sec. Oh my gosh. Can't tell you how much I've learned from you since getting my long arm. I hear your voice with all your tips and your tricks while at my machine. One of my students calls those Susanisms because she hears my voice too, bless her heart. Laura, having problems registering, but Erin is on it. Yep, I saw your email come in, Laura, and we will help you out with that for sure. And I see you talking among yourselves about the thread, and that's great. I'm with you guys on that. I was given a bunch of cotton cones when I bought my first long arm used as well. And same thing, they sat around and gathered dust for a while. And finally I thought, you know, if I don't love this thread, I'm not gonna throw good effort after bad, you know what I mean? And put it in a quilt and then not love the quilt or have trouble working with it. So I just donated it. Like, it is absolutely decent thread. So for someone who's sewing or even piecing a quilt, honestly, that thread is perfectly suitable. But to my way of thinking, cotton thread is just not a good fit for working at a long arm machine at high speeds. That's just my opinion. Okay, that's all the questions that are coming in. So I've mentioned the workshop. Easiest way to register is simply to go to my website, stitchedbysusan.com. There's a banner right at the top for Stitch Confident. Click on that. And I think it's on my Facebook page too, also Stitched by Susan. Also a banner you can click on with a link to register. So pick the time that suits you, and I look forward to chatting with you guys more. I'll have lots of pictures and slides and fun things to show you. So there's that. I hope to see you at the workshop, and if not, I will see you at tomorrow's live session. Keep sending in your requests for topics. I read them every day. See you tomorrow.